So Kristaps Porzingis overall has been great for the New York Knicks. He makes them one of the most fun teams in the NBA, and it seems like he gives them an avenue for building up a real winner here. It's been rough lately, which I don't think is too shocking. The Knicks have been on the road a lot, and they still have a ways to go. They have a rookie point guard, of course. But with all this, Porzingis has been slipping a bit this season. In terms of percentages, points, he's mentioned that he's really tired a lot. On top of, this has kind of been a trend for him where he starts the season really well, and as the year goes along, he kind of fizzles out. So I think this opens up a conversation of, is Porzingis as good as we really think he is? Or is he that talented, but it's a matter of just improving his body and allowing himself to really be there from a physical standpoint? Let's talk about it. Well, if we start this season, we look at this year, the first 6 games of the season, he was putting up 30 points a game, he was shooting nearly 50%, he shot 36% from 3, and then in November, he was around 24 points a game, 46 from the field, 42% from 3. Excellent start to the season for Porzingis. And basically, ever since the start of December, his percentage has been potentially below 40%. I mean, it's definitely down there. And his three-pointer has been a bit better in January, but it was pretty bad in December. And you can say a similar thing happened last season, as we'll say basically from February on, his three-pointer fizzled out, his shooting from the floor wasn't as good, and yeah, I mean, it's not the same thing. He had Melo on his team last season, and that was a headache the entire year, but I do think a trend is developing where he starts the year looking like the big-time star, and then it doesn't go as well as it goes on, you know? I think there's a few reasons for this. Number one, let's be real. The Knicks don't exactly run the best offense to get Porzingis open shots. A lot of the time it's isolations from 15 feet, and then he just uses the fact that he's really tall to shoot over guys. And sure, that can be a source of offense, but at the same time, sometimes he's going against like 6'7", 6'8" wing players who they get into him. You know, they put elbows into his back, they bump him around, and you do that constantly, game after game after game, it's going to take a physical toll on you. On top of, I wish he had more plays where he was just like coming off of screens or whatever, and he could just shoot more three-pointers or just get some more open looks, you know? Now, part of the reason why he might not be able to get as many open looks is because the Knicks' perimeter talent is not really there. Like, I like Frank Ntilikina, and I think he can be a quality point guard, but he's a rookie. And NBA defenses, if they have a choice of loading up on Porzingis in a pick-and-pop situation or loading up on Ntilikina, of course they're going to pick Porzingis, and that makes Porzingis' job just more difficult. For the season, the Zinger is 6th in usage rate, and as you would expect, he's number 1 on the Knicks, although weirdly enough, Beasley's usage rate is nearly 30%, which I guess kind of makes sense because he does a lot of ISOs and post-up things, but the responsibility that Porzingis has is pretty damn high, and I think the combination of that with them asking him to hit a lot of tough shots and just get a lot of guys elbowing him and all that, it can add up. Now, that's all that. So, I mean, I think Hornacek could do a better job of just, you know, getting Porzingis more perimeter looks and more looks where he's not got to out-physical guys all the time. But we do need to look at Porzingis just himself. The dude's skinny as hell, okay? 7'3", 240 pounds. Can he really handle the physical nature of the power forward position? Now, I think one thing that's interesting is that he's not the most eager rebounder in the world. He oftentimes leaves that to Enes Kanter and Kyle O'Quinn, which is kind of smart because you want to conserve some of your energy for offense. But at the same time, like, there are some games when he grabs 5 rebounds, 4 rebounds, 2 rebounds, and he plays quite a few minutes. is that him not wanting to mix things up down low all the time? I think that's definitely part of it. To be nice, the 2 rebound game he had, he only played 18 minutes, so I'm not going to kill him for that one too much, but still, I think that is a bit of a sign, you know? And sure, the power forward position is moving more and more to the 3-point line by the day, so you're not going to be in every opportunity to grab rebounds. I get all that, but you know, there are some games where dude is just not grabbing any rebounds. I mean, there was a game against the Hawks. He played 36 minutes, he grabbed 4 boards. So this could be just a matter of Porzingis needs to get in the weight room and he needs to just do whatever he can to prepare himself physically. And I think this actually kind of mirrors Anthony Davis, because Davis, also a skinny guy, who you could say even attacks the basket more often than Porzingis does, right? And Davis has been in and out of the lineup for the Pelicans all the time, basically. I mean, last season he was playing the center position for them, and he was great, but you have to ask yourself, what kind of physical toll does that take on Anthony Davis, because he's a slim dude? And while Porzingis has not missed any real drastic time, it seems like we're kind of going in that direction here. I mean, if your season is starting to taper off because you can't handle the physical nature of the position you're playing, and you're saying that you're getting tired, you know, what's the next step? Injuries, of course. Now, if I can go back to his shot attempts just a bit, some interesting percentages is this season, he's attempting nearly 30% of his shots from 10 to 16 feet, and I think a lot of that is the isolation / post-ups that he'll have on smaller guys, and that allows him to get kind of beat up, if you ask me. And he's attempting about 24% of his shots from 3. Now, last season, he was attempting 32% of his shots from 3, and he was around 20% from 10 to 16. So that could be something. Maybe if you take away 2 or 3 of those isolation plays and you turn a couple more into those into 3-pointers, maybe that could help him out from a physical standpoint. Interestingly, he's taking about the same amount of threes this year as he took last year. I mean, I think he's better than 5 threes a game. I think he can be taking like 7 to 9 threes a game, and I think it could help your offense. I think he could totally make them in, and it could help him from a physical standpoint, so he doesn't have as many of those plays where he's just kind of hitting a tough shot, conserving a lot of energy, trying to get post-up position, and as a result, hopefully just make him less tired. Also, another stat, he's averaging almost 9 post-ups a game. I think it should be lower. In a perfect world, would he be able to physically handle posting up that many times? Yes, but he clearly isn't right now. So it's either you make him do it, which is what a bad coach would do, or you understand the situation and you go, all right, let's give you more of an offensive workload that you can handle and turn a couple of those post-ups into 3-pointers. So that's what I would say with Porzingis. Ultimately, he's going to have to get stronger because the dude's offensive potential is just limitless. And if he could get to a point where he could be doing basically whatever you wanted, which is, maybe one game he has to post up a bunch and the next game he can just take a whole bunch of threes, that would be the perfect scenario. But let's remember, the dude's 22 years old. The Knicks are trying to have him for his entire career. So if that means you have to lay back a little bit right now, to where when he's 27, 28 years old, he's not going to get injured, he's not going to be tired all the time, and he's going to be able to lead you to whatever the hell you are going to be in 6 years, then of course you do that. I think that's one thing to remember with this Knicks team overall is, I know it's been rough for a while, and I know that this season started off with a lot of excitement, but let's be real here, okay? They're 10th in the East, their point guard is a rookie, and their star player is 22 years old. So if that means we have to pump the brakes and play the waiting game a little bit more, then that's what you do, okay? So I think Porzingis will be fine. I think it just requires a little bit of adjustment, get him a few more possessions a game that are not as physical, and the dude still has to get stronger, of course.